Welcome back to my vlog. I want to thank all of the new subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate that. Now, I've had some viewers ask me, where have I been the last month? Not very many videos out. That's correct. That's because the beginning of October, I was out at the strip. That's the drag strip in Vegas. My lifelong friend, Gary Ratcliffe, and his family. I've known them for many years, since the 60s. We went to school together. We lived down the street from each other. They were here in Vegas racing their cars at the strip. And I was out there filming their racing. And it took a long time to edit it and then get it uploaded to their site, which is Ratcliffe Racing. I'll have a link to that down in the description below. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all 4 episodes of their racing on my vlog. So those of you that like race cars and drag racers in particular, this might be enjoyable for you. There will not be any poker involved in these next 4 episodes. So this is going to be episode 1. I want to thank you very much again for viewing my vlogs. I hope you enjoy these episodes. I'll be posting these episodes consecutively for the next 4 days. Thanks again. I hope you enjoy. Well, before we get into racing, here's a film that was taken in 1964 of Gary and I installing a 283 Corvette engine in my 1953 Chevy. I purchased this Chevy for $50 out of a junkyard, and Gary and I rebuilt this engine to 61 vet specifications. Fuel injection cam and lifters. And here we're installing the front motor mounts. And this is the interior of that 53 Chevy. We ended up taking the 53 Chevy to Pomona. We had to tow it out there and ran sea gas at Pomona back in 1964. Well, one night a drunk driver slammed into my car, parked out in front of my parents' house, and that was pretty much the end of that 53 Chevy. After we both returned from the service, Gary continued with drag racing. I went a different route. I went with quarter-mile asphalt racing, modified coupes. I had a 1937 Chevy with a 283 Chevy engine. Problem was, that was such a small engine, I couldn't really compete with these guys, and I couldn't afford a larger engine. So I didn't last but just a few years.
car is a 23T altered Roadsters, round tube chromoly chassis with a 498 cubic inch big block, power glide, and a Ford 9-inch rear end. Has about 650, 700 horsepower.
So this car is my dad's car. Bought this in 1968 as a new vehicle. It's a Super Sport 396. Originally came with a 4-speed. It's been altered for drag racing to make it more consistent. It now has a turbo 400 automatic transmission, stall converter. There's a 9-inch Ford rear end in the car now, and then the engine has been altered in some minor fashions. But this is a numbers matched car, meaning that the VIN number matches the engine number, matches the frame number, and we have everything to put it back as it rolled off the showroom floor. So it's a little touchy. We don't want to change too much, but enough has been changed.
So the car is kind of an interesting story. My dad bought the car in 1975. It was wrecked, no engine, no trans, no rear end, and it was a salvage car. He was going to build a race car out of it. So he kept it for a few years, did some work on it. He sold it to my brother. They put a motor in it. He drove it as his everyday daily driver after high school. He had it for years, and then he gave it to me with the understanding that I would restore it. So I got it from him. I put a paint job on it. It has all the original interior that was stored up in Dad's attic all those years. And then it's gone through two different engines, a couple different rear ends, and it's just slowly been upgraded from about a 15-second car to a high 11-second car. So it's a 383 small block Chevrolet, 9.7-to-1 compression, has AFR heads on it, an Edelbrock intake, and a Holley carb, and it's running a comp cams hydraulic roller camshaft. Behind that is a turbo 400 3-speed automatic, and then a Ford 9-inch rear end with 411 gears.
So now, Thursday evening, this is the Gambler. Everybody pays in $50, and then it's non-electronics cars competing against each other, and then cars with electronics. What that means is cars that have electric boxes, that have throttle stops, that have different issues like that, they're electronic. A car like this has no electronics that control the throttle, that control any timing changes down the track. This is really how it came from the factory, with some minor exceptions.
Okay, we're moving up to the water box here in just a moment for a burnout, and then we're going to have a race. The guy that I'm racing is dialed a 9.93. I have a dial of a 13.02, which means I'm going to leave basically 3 seconds before he does. I didn't know who had won until I got to the time slip booth. Turns out the other guy took the stripe by 0.08 of a second. So I got on the brakes a little too hard,
allowed him to get past me by 8,000ths, which is probably 6 or 8 inches car. So at over 100 miles an hour, it's a little hard to just figure out distances. The car is slowing down. We don't know why. We're going to test this morning and see what it runs. If it continues to slow down, there's something wrong with it. The car has well over 1,000 passes on this engine setup. It was rebuilt 25 years ago. It shouldn't be running this slow. It ran a 1317. On the brakes, it would have run about a 1350.
track got oiled down, so it got later and later, which meant the air got cooler and cooler. So when I did my dial, I expected the car to go faster. And unfortunately, once I got up there, the car didn't go faster. It actually went slightly slower than it had gone all day. So my dial was too fast. So I ended up running almost a tenth of a second off, which meant that the other car pretty easily caught me and beat me.